I would say that Iran is in a better position than the CIA is reporting. It's not 3 to 4 months. Iran can last indefinitely. On the missiles, I would just refer to Foreign Minister Araghchi's response. He said, we're not at 75%, we're at 120%, meaning that Iran has far more capability today than they had when the war started.
Here with one of our favorite guests, Scott Ritter, one-time Marine intelligence officer who served in the former Soviet Union implementing arms control agreements from 91 and 98. He served as the chief inspector for the United Nations in Iraq, leading the search for Iraqi weapons of mass destruction. Didn't find any. He was later a vocal critic of the American decision to go to war in Iraq. He's also the best-selling author of 9 books. His latest, Highway to Hell, The Armageddon Chronicles, 2015 and 2024. Welcome back to the show, Scott Ritter.
Thank you very much for having me.
Get right to it. I saw this tweet by our friend Furkan. He says the Pentagon is in absolute panic mode. Al Jazeera completely exposes U.S. Central Command for dodging basic questions about massive damage to American vessels. The Trump administration recklessly fired on a tanker and sparked a retaliation. Trump is hiding a massive failure. Let's listen.
Well, that's right. And I should point out that we here at Al Jazeera have reached out to U.S. Central Command to try and get the U.S. take on what exactly occurred in the Strait of Hormuz in the last couple of hours. Our response was that they had nothing to offer us. In other words, they didn't confirm it, nor did they deny it. And we should point out that when it comes to Iran state broadcaster, there have been reports of damage to U.S. vessels before. The United States has always denied or minimized that. And so it's really unclear right now exactly just what has occurred. But as you reported at the start of the bulletin, this escalation has come on the heels of the United States firing on an Iranian tanker just one day earlier. And so there is certainly an incident that potentially has prompted the Iranians to now retaliate against the United States. But again, the United States Central Command not confirming, nor is it.
Okay, so Scott, do you have any, this is from yesterday, do you have any information that can confirm or deny this report?
No. I don't have a hotline to Central Command, so I wish I did, but if I did, they probably wouldn't tell me anyways. I would err on the side of the Iranians being over optimistic. I do believe they engaged our ships. Our ships have some very sophisticated, self-defense capabilities. The important thing here isn't whether or not they, actually hit a ship and did damage, although that would be a very big story. It's that they made the ships turn around and run away. Apparently the attacks overwhelmed the defenses to the point that they had to use the close-in weapon system, basically the Phalanx 20 millimeter Gatling gun, in a desperate effort to stop the Iranian missile from hitting the ships. And the Gatling gun only has a finite amount of ammunition. It can cycle through that ammunition in 30 seconds. So had a second wave been launched and broken through the missile defense barriers, the ships would have been helpless, and so they had to leave. And this just again underscores the fact that Iran is in complete control of the Strait of Hormuz, and the United States Navy is powerless to change that equation.
Well, speaking to that point, the Washington Post reports that U.S. intelligence says Iran can outlast Trump's Hormuz blockade for months. And John Hudson did a nice summary of this. Confidential CIA analyst delivered to policymakers this week concludes that Iran can survive the U.S. naval blockade for at least 3 to 4 months before facing more severe economic hardship, finding that contradicts those hailing an imminent collapse. The U.S. intel also indicates that Iran retains about 75% of its pre-war inventories of mobile launchers and about 70% of its pre-war stockpiles of missiles. Per a U.S. official, the regime has also been able to recover underground storage facilities and repair damaged missiles. And here is From the report, one of the U.S. officials said they thought Iran's capacity to sustain prolonged economic hardship is far greater than even the current CIA estimate. The leadership has gotten more radical, determined, and increasingly confident that they can outlast U.S. political will and sustain domestic repression to check any resistance. Inside Iran, the official said, comparatively, you see similar regimes lasting years under sustained embargoes and air power only wars. What's your response to this report?
Well, I would say that the CIA doesn't have good insight into Iran to begin with. We've burned through 3 human intelligence networks over the years. And when I say burned through, that means that they were compromised and all of our spies on the ground were captured and killed. So we've been relying upon Israeli intelligence. That's what got us in this war to begin with, bad Israeli intelligence. So what we're looking here is a CIA assessment of, open source information, no spectacular insights. And the CIA is prejudiced against Iran. Even though these assessments are, show Iran to be in a better position than the White House has spun it, I would say that Iran is in a better position than the CIA is reporting. It's not 3 to 4 months. Iran can last indefinitely. People tend to forget that Iran has been laboring under, U.S. sanctions and restrictions on its oil economy for 47 years. This isn't their first rodeo, their first fluctuation in market realities. They know how to deal with this. It also ignores the fact that, a great deal of Iran's oil production is consumed domestically. That they aren't necessarily held hostage to the closure of the strait as much as people might think. They have other ways to get oil to market. Right now, the Pakistani-Iranian border looks like something out of Mad Max with all the oil tankers going back and forth. The Iranians have mastered oil smuggling routes. They're not panicked at all. The Iranians I have spoken to say that there is no panic in Iran about the people that are panicked are the Gulf Arab states. Kuwait, for instance, who shipped 0 oil last month. They're the ones running the storage problems. Same thing with Saudi Arabia. Same thing with United Arab Emirates. They're the ones that face oil field closure and maintenance issues. So the CIA is wrong on the missiles. I would just refer to Foreign Minister Araghchi's response. He said, we're not at 75%, we're at 120%, meaning that Iran has far more capability today than they had when the war started. That reflects the reality that the United States hasn't destroyed anywhere near what we claim to have destroyed, and that Iran took their missile production underground. They've been building missiles during the war, and they're building missiles now. They have more missiles today of a more modern variety than what they